We have three awesome panelists here today. I want to start with, quickly introducing the first one. The first one is Umama Kibria, who is the founder and CEO of Sweatpack and a Robinson College of Business grad in the year 2014. So with that said, Umama, I want you to, if you can, please tell us a little bit about yourself, about who you are, and about Sweatpack.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for coming out today, and congratulations to the ENI team. You guys have been an amazing rock for all of us. So excited to chat with you guys. But hey guys, I'm Umama, the co-founder and CEO of Sweatpack, and my passion is for connecting people through fitness. I've learned that when people commit to a fitness routine that they love, they transform into game-changing leaders that disrupt the world. So I was recognized as Forbes 30 Under 30 as I worked out at over 400 gyms across the world and connected with over 100,000 people on social media. I learned that the main problem was that people have a hard time staying consistent with their fitness routine. Now, that's why we developed Sweatpack, which is a sports and fitness team matching platform that's powered by our marketplace. We're helping people be active and stay accountable, while gyms can trust that they can get reoccurring revenue through our platform. So I'm excited to share our journey with you guys today, answer all of your questions, because truly ENI was a huge pivotal point in our growth. So feel free to ask anything.
Thank you so much, Umama. And by the way, remind me if I'm wrong here. Aren't you the one who can lift like 10 times your weight? Is that do I have that right?
Not 10 times my weight.
Not 10. Okay,
Two times my weight.
Or twice the weight. Okay, still not bad. Still not bad. Yeah, I can only do half of my weight, so that's definitely better.
We'll anyway, have you join a Sweatpack. Don't worry.
Yes, I do really need that. I'm actually considering that, to be perfectly honest. All right, now next we'll move on to Ashley Richardson, who is the founder and CEO of MyTotem and an Andrew Young School of Policy grad in 2017. And by the way, for everybody to know, from here on, we have two Ashleys. So to kind of separate the two, I'm going to be referring to the MyTotem founder as Richardson from here on out. So Ashley, why don't you just tell us a little bit about MyTotem and about you, and just kind of what is MyTotem?
Yeah, so thank you so much. So happy to be here. I love Main Street and everything that we've done, like just people that we've met, like the opportunities that have been granted to us after the fact. It's amazing, and I can't wait to get into it. But I'm Ashley Richardson, founder and CEO of MyTotem. It is an automated branding platform targeted for entrepreneurs and small businesses. Through my experiences in undergrad, I was an entrepreneur and realized that there was a huge gap in the market between professional design resources and what entrepreneurs could actually afford. And then there was this new evolving brand tech industry that was approaching the market as well, that really wanted to hone in on DIY, right? And so that's the Canvas, that's the Squarespace, that's where you can go and actually build in your visual identity through all of these external platforms. Realized through that business owners need more than just the tools. They need direction as well. And so that's where the idea of MyTotem came about. It's an automated branding platform to where we not only assign your colors, fonts, and design aesthetics to your visual identity, but we also guide you in your digital marketing practices and strategy as well. So I've been working on this since 2017, and it's evolved into what it is today. So,
well, that's awesome. I know MyTotem very closely, and they are doing something pretty cool. Let's go to Ashley Daramola. She's the founder and CEO of Artsy Bella, and a graduate of the College of Arts and Sciences in 2010. From here on out, again, to be very clear, we will be referring to Ashley as Bella because it's Artsy Bella, and also she is, we have two Ashleys, right? So Ashley, why don't you go ahead and tell us about your, your kind of story? And every time I hear it, I love it. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to be here. I am always looking for ways to get back connected with our Main Street family. It's so good to see Umama and Ashley. Well, Ashley and I see each other quite a bit. And MK I talk to and harass all the time. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about me. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm from Southwest Atlanta. So I went to Westlake High School, and then from there went to Georgia State to do my undergrad. I ended up getting my bachelor's in the School of Interdisciplinary Studies because as an artist, you know, we like to do 10,000 things at one time. And so I changed my major a lot and found that I needed to make a degree program. So I ended up getting my degree in arts administration, which combined a lot of the business classes that I had taken and then the studio art that I was doing. So after Georgia State, I wasn't very secure that I could build a business off of being an artist. So I went into mental health and did that for 10 years, got my master's in psychology, worked with a lot of children and families, and ended that career working with sex trafficking survivors. And during that time, those ladies were dealing with a lot, whether it was drug addiction or trauma. And we needed to find new ways to help them process a lot of the things that they were dealing with and find healthy distractions and coping mechanisms. And so I started doing art therapy with them. And we saw how effective it had been with helping them to just really make a decision to change their lives. And they encouraged me to take the work that I did with them and find a way to share it with other people. So I quit my job in 2016 and became an entrepreneur, started building Artsy Bella to build capital. We did paint parties and art classes in a studio that I have in East Point, Georgia. And when we joined the Main Street cohort, we pivoted to develop a solution centered around art and wellness and really trying to teach art therapy on a scalable way. And so we developed a subscription box that MK worked very, very closely with me as I tried to figure out not only the problem we were solving, but the solution. And so we developed a subscription box. And sorry, guys, my little things are falling apart over here. We developed a subscription box and we were able to put a pilot version of it out through the money that we received from Main Street. We did a lot of customer discovery. We're getting a lot of buzz and a lot of interest in the solution that we're building. And since COVID, we pivoted and now we're building a digital platform that'll do the same purpose with teaching art for wellness to people. And so we are working on that right now. So the cohort has helped us pivot a couple of times. We've doubled our revenue since COVID doing virtual art instruction with people. We've actually done like 3 parties with Georgia State. So I'm happy to be here and happy to get to share my journey with the program and answer any questions you guys have.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for that. I want to stick with you for a minute here. And by the way, for everybody in the audience, we're going to have an audience Q&A session. And the way we're going to do that is you have to type in your question in the Q&A box. And so when that time comes around, I'll be able to post those questions to the panelists. So please, as we're going through this, feel free to start typing your questions in the Q&A box. Okay, going back to Artsy Bella. How did you come to know about the Main Street program? Because you graduated 2010.
Awesome.
You're already into your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how did you know about, or how did you come to know about the Main Street program? Because we really didn't do a lot of marketing at all. Actually, we didn't do any marketing at all. We launched the fund as soon as Marcus Foundation wrote us a check. So how did you find out about it?
That's a great question. I love telling this story. So I have been working on building my social media up since middle of last year. Well, since before I found out about the program. And I had started posting a lot about things that I had done, memories I had at Georgia State. And another alumni just came across my page for my hashtag, I think, where I tagged Georgia State in it and asked me to come and speak to some students. His name is George Greenidge. They call him Chip for short too. And he works with the Launch GSU program. And so I came and spoke. And the day that I came, he said, I got to show you something cool. And showed me the entrepreneurship and innovation office that I didn't know was there. And I was just blown away, because when I was going to school, I actually dropped out for a little while because I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't feel like there was a space for me at my school for it. And to see that they now had something that caters to people like all of us who are here, I had to find a way to be a part of it. And then I met Jackie Davis, and she told me about the seed fund and said that you should apply. So from meeting her and finding out about it, that's how I applied to the program.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is a pretty cool story. And I know Mama has a pretty cool story too. What did you tell us? How did you find out about it, Mama?
You stalked me. I'm
I
just
did
kidding.
stalk you.
So what's so funny and so awesome about the Atlanta ecosystem is everyone is genuinely out there to help each other and referring them to opportunities, making them aware. But as MK mentioned, this program was not advertised or marketed to alumni in specific. And so I had just pitched at Atlanta Tech Village, their pre-accelerator program. I won first place, and then MK calls me the next day. I'm like, I don't even know who this is. Leaves me a message to, hey, there's this program. I'd love to tell you more about it. And he had learned from my friend Shihan, who was also in the Main Street cohort, as well as the ATV cohort. So I think it's a true representation of how the Atlanta ecosystem wants to support each other and provide opportunities such each other, but it takes going out there and learning about them. And I think what Ashley mentioned about having that social presence allows us to amplify and get that out faster.
Yeah, and you know, and I'm just gonna just give a shout out selfishly to Georgia State, right? I'm a Georgia State alumni myself, and I think Georgia State is so great about about taking care of our students and our alumni, and I think we can get better, and we are getting better. But I think definitely definitely shout out to Georgia State for that. Actually, from my tone, why don't you tell us about your story? Like, how did you come across the program?
Yeah, mine was definitely alumni story, actually. So I minored in entrepreneurship. The program was very, very new when I started. But one of my professors, Professor Ken Mathis, is actually an entrepreneur in residence. And he told me about the opportunity. He was like, oh, we're going to have this new program. And plus, like, this is one of the 5th programs that they've had so far from onset of the entrepreneurship program in general. And so I was super interested, and I guess every year, they have the pitch competitions and everything like that. But what made this program really stick out to me was the cohort and how we were going to, see our progress over the next 6 months. So I decided to apply after that.
Awesome. So,
yeah.
I want to take it over to Umama here. Because I see Umama everywhere because she's got, I think, 1 million plus, I don't know, like 250,000 or 300,000 followers on Instagram, and she's everywhere. She does so many panels. She participates in programs. So I wanted to really ask you, Umama, you participated at It Takes a Village. And even Ashley Richardson and Archie Bella, you guys also participated in another program that I'll talk to you about in a minute. But I wanted to ask Umama, as you see these other programs around the Atlanta ecosystem, what sticks out to you about Main Street, and coming from It Takes a Village, why did you want to join the Main Street program?
Yeah, great question. And truly, I think it comes down to 3 things: capital, connections, and the cohort. And, Atlanta does such an incredible job at providing opportunities, workshops, panels, all these. But there isn't investment behind it to speak to the fact that, hey, we believe in you and we want to help scale this business. And so that was really how Georgia State came in as disruptors in the Atlanta ecosystem, because not only were they actually giving a non-diluted $10,000 grant, but they were saying, hey, we want to help you grow and develop through this program with other founders that are in the same stage as you, but also we want to help you get customers, right? We're talking revenue. That's how we scale businesses. Whether it was running a pilot with Georgia State University, which was big for us, or it was giving us the platform through Georgia State to broadcast and attract investors and paying customers. So I definitely think that has a big thing to do with it. But the third element would definitely be the leadership behind it. I'm a huge advocate for hang out with a person who is where you want to be. And people like MK, Jennifer, Jackie, they are huge disruptors in the industry as far as connections and wanting to get the resources out to the right people. And I know that that is my big goal and I want to be just like them, but they were going to set me on the right track to get to that opportunity. So talk about influence, Georgia State has that.
Thank you so much. And by the way, I do wanna add Jameen in there, because Jameen is,
and Jameen, oh my God,
Jameen is
she
amazing.
was amazing.
Yeah, Jameen. Well, she wasn't amazing. She is amazing because she is like if you talk about in this COVID times, her business is like growing at huge scale, right? I mean, it's amazing. And the way she coaches and the way she talks to the entrepreneurs. Definitely, I've learned a lot from her myself. So definitely. And the other thing I wanted to really mention there is, like, you talk about capital, which is so cool because, you said you used the word non-dilutive, which is really key, because if you're looking at the Atlanta ecosystem, you have accelerators, right? That are giving you money. Well, great, but they're also kind of diluting you, right? They're taking equity in the company, which really messes up your cap table a little bit, right? We're trying to go and raise more capital later on down the road. And here we are, we're sort of granting the money with no dilution. And at the same time, we're giving you, coaching workshops and everything. And this next cohort is actually going to have a leg up on you guys, because we're going to pair them up with you guys. So you guys will also be able to coach. And so it's good. It's just, we just keep on giving and learning and, like keep on doing it. I want to go over to, Ashley from My Totem. I know you participated in another program right after Main Street, and which is also It Takes a Village, right? I think you participated in It Takes a Village with Mama, but there's also another program. I don't want to take the name of that program, but tell us, like, what you saw when you went from Main Street, or everything that you did at Main Street, and what you saw or that may have helped you, or or you saw different in the programs that you participated afterwards.
Yeah, so what really stuck out to me about Main Street was the sense of community and the coaching throughout the time that we were within the program. So and even after the program, I just thought it was remarkable how every connection that I got, well, the majority of connections that I got after that tied in some way back to Main Street. And so I really, really liked within the program how we had the workshops and how we had, mentor check-ins, and just like making sure that, we stayed on track, not only growing our MVP, well, building our MVP, but also growing our revenue and our customers, and, just like making sure that our business model and all of our plans are on track. And so that came too with the additional programs that I participated in afterwards, but it was more so at that point about networking and about, maybe I would say, knowing the right person versus knowing the right information. Because with Main Street, it was about information, and then all of the network came to you. And I would say in the following programs, it was definitely meet who you need to meet in order to get the information that you need to get. And all the time, that's not always well, I guess it maybe depends on what stage of your company you're in, because sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. So it's kind of hard to navigate and know who to reach out to if you don't know, you know, kind of what direction you want your company to go into, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah, that's, I think, yeah, Main Street, probably right after Main Street, you knew most of the stuff that you wanted to do or needed to do. And then at that point, it was just about, executing, right? Um, uh, Archie Bella, actually, why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of your experience with the other programs that was different or was helpful when you left Main Street?
Okay, so I participated in two programs after I left Main Street. And I would say the biggest difference is first is in addition to just the grant, the money that we got, like everyone else said, there's definitely a sense of community. And we were able to build a really solid community amongst the other companies. And a lot of the entrepreneurs, we still stay in touch with each other. I know a lot of us are actually really, the interesting thing is a lot of our businesses are doing well, are still thriving and figuring things out despite, the problems with the pandemic and how much of a roadblock that caused. And I think that when I think about a lot of the decisions I'm making in my business right now, having gone through two programs afterwards, it was still a lot of what I got out of the Main Street program that I see that helped me to be able to make a lot of tough decisions, and really just figure out how to pivot through the pandemic. I think some other things are the quality of the workshops. They had experts in their field, so it wasn't just like MK teaching everything. MK did a lot of mentorship and advising, so he's the one staying on top of us and making sure we're getting things done, we're executing, meeting our milestones. But then they brought in additional people to teach us things, and it was a very conversational kind of format, so you didn't feel like there was no dumb question. We were all at different levels of understanding our businesses and understanding the startup world. And they made it feel comfortable to just learn. Those are the biggest standouts for me.
So I want to get now into the application process a little bit, okay? Because we had close to 100 applications, and then we were, and then you guys were one of the 21 companies that we picked, and then of course, you rose above the rest, and which speaks to volumes about about you guys as entrepreneurs and your businesses and your company. Um, Tell me the application process. Like, how did you approach the application process to really stand out? Or basically, you think that your application stood out from the droves of the hundreds that we received. Umama, you want to? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think when it comes to applying to anything, it's aligning our mission with the mission of the organization, or in this case, the Marcus Foundation and Georgia State University. I think I had like 2 days to apply and finish up the application. So I did a lot of research to understand what is the Marcus Foundation's initiative with investing in this, or Georgia State's. And really, ultimately, the goal was to create jobs, opportunities, and keeping it headquartered in Atlanta, which is very much in line with my big goals, which has always been creating a fitness tech capital here in Atlanta, hiring the students from Georgia State and giving them a platform to rise up in their careers. So that was really one of the biggest pivots I made in my pitch deck, which was at the end, making sure to say that, like, look, part of this growth of this company is being able to hire the talent here at Georgia State University. And I'm proud to say we've already done that. So it
Nice.
definitely was really big for us. I think other things on the application process, definitely do your research. Talk to the people that are actually in charge. I had a phone call with MK about 2 times before applying to making sure I understood what the curriculum and time commitment was. Unlike many accelerator programs, GSU, ENI, and Main Street, I would say had the least amount of commitment, but the most amount of value. And when I say that, I mean, they did a great job with this, where we're busy people, right? We're trying to build our companies. And in that application process, they made that very clear. And then third thing, highlighting any kind of traction you have. If that's social media traction, if that's how you've grown at Georgia State and how you're transferring those skills to your business, put in all of the traction, because that's what helps them garner the trust, because really all they're banking a bet on is the founder. So I can definitely say those three things helped me.
That's a really good point you make, Umama. It's that two things you talked about there. One thing is the time commitment, and it's so cool that you said that. You actually asked me about how much time it is going to do you have to commit, because it is like with anything, as an entrepreneur, you're trying to sort of manage your time between growing your business, but at the same time, you need help in certain things like we need capital or coaching, and you have to make time for those too. And so can you make time for the program? Because to be honest, it's just not the capital that you're getting from Main Street, it's also the coaching and the mentoring. And for you to be able to get value from those workshops and coaching and mentoring, you have to put time towards those, right? Because at the end of the day, it's all about like absorbing as much information as possible and keeping the balance of executing on your business at the same time. Ashley, Richardson, why don't you tell us about sort of your thoughts on the application process? And because and the other thing I wanted to really tag to that, what Umama said, was traction, right? Because traction is not just revenue. Traction can be a lot of different things. And I remember actually when I saw your application, you had a different kind of traction. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and so like Umama and MK said, I think my strategy was more so establishing trust and letting Main Street know how serious both me and my co-founder were about this idea. And even it was just emphasizing the fact that we're past idea stage, right? And so we didn't get the opportunity to build out our first real MVP until after getting into Main Street. But before that, there was a ton of things that we could have done, right? And we just chose to be able to show how we wanted to show proof of concept in a way that was tangible. So reached out to friends, families, got surveys, did some beta testing, just based off of emails back and forth, just anything that shows that there's a need for the problem that we're solving, we did. And so I included all of that in the application. I included how long we've been working on it, how many hours a week, if we're full-time, part-time. We're full-time at the time, but even if you're part-time, if you are looking for a co-founder, have a co-founder, I think it's really important to emphasize, how serious you are about growing and scaling your idea.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I remember your application, seeing that you've done, you just didn't wait around, for somebody to, give you money or coaching. You just started doing things, and this was just going to enhance that process, right? And so that's the goal of the the Main Street program is, we can't babysit the entrepreneur, but we can definitely accelerate the entrepreneur for sure, right? Archibella, Ashley, what about you?
I think the biggest thing that I try to focus on when applying is telling my story. And that's because the few people that I talked about that I was like, I really think I want to apply for this program. That was the biggest feedback I got, was really think about your story and tell it. And I'm not sure if that helped my application, but I like to think that even when I tell my story now, it's gotten a lot better since my participation in the cohort. It's something we learn. It's something that people you talk to your business about really want to hear, and that's what they connect with, whether it be a customer or an investor or a potential partner. And then really, I treated it like I was going on Shark Tank. And it's interestingly, the impact that Main Street is having on my business right now, I would say is equivalent to the smallest outcome I could have expected out of going on something like Shark Tank. So I just took it very seriously, and anything I could think of to make that application stand out among anybody, I was like willing to do.
You know, I want to talk, that's a really cool segue into the, you know, you make that Shark Tank comment, right? I want to sort of get the audience to you know, give the audience sort of an understanding of sort of the process that we went through, and I want to get your get all of your thoughts on it. Is that, you know, there's an application process that happens, and of course, you know, we picked the top 50, or at the time we picked the top 50. And then what we did was we brought them in front of actually a group of external judges, like judges who are not related to Georgia State. They're from the Atlanta community, right? The investor and the entrepreneur community. And, you know, all of you had to sort of pitch your startup, you know, and tell your story in 10 minutes or less, and with a 5-minute Q&A. And now a lot of people, you know, it's for many of us, it's, or many out there, it's very hard to tell a story in 10 minutes or less. You know, because it's just, I mean, if you haven't done it. Now, if you are, you know, someone like Umama, you have done it umpteen times. And so it's just, you know, muscle memory. Just like she gets up there and she tells a story as if like, it's always been, you know, on the tip of her tongue, right? But I want to kind of, you know, get your thoughts on that kind of process of like what you thought about or how you approach the pitch part of the process. So I want to start with you, you know, Ashley Bella first, and then, you know, we'll go to Richardson, and then of course, you know, we'll get, we'll go to the expert in the panel, Umama, right? So let's get started. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that's funny you said that about Umama, because every time she talks, I'm just so in awe of how just well she delivers it, the same level every time. So kudos to you, girl. I approached it. Well, so I had never pitched my business before. This was a very new concept to me, and I had no clue what to say or even how to prepare for it. I just imagine this is probably not like doing any of the theater work I used to do, getting on stage and telling something scripted. So I thought, but I just started Googling how to pitch a business. And then even talking to, so the team at ENI were very instrumental in even helping us prepare. And they were definitely available if we needed any feedback, if we had questions. They didn't start their support of us when we were in there. It started before we got in. It started while we were still waiting to see if we were finalists. We were still getting advice and tips on what to do to make our application stronger, which I really appreciated, especially because that showed they understood that we aren't all Umama. And so we needed a little more help, and they were there to do it.
All right. What about you, Ashley Richardson, my totem?
The pitch for application or the pitch for the competition?
No, the pitch for the 10-minute, you know, remember the 10-minute pitch you came and did for the group of judges to get selected?
Okay. So with that, I did so much research on, well, I was already like a YC nerd, Y Combinator, they're an accelerator on the West Coast. And so like I've watched all of their YouTube videos. It started from when I was in Professor Ken Mathis's class, but they really define what not to do. And so I really took that and practiced. I was also in Y Combinator startup school at the time. It's a free program. And so I got to practice, sorry, my dog. I got to practice really pitching in front of new entrepreneurs every week. And so from there, I just kind of pieced together my pitch deck and just rehearsed it, recorded myself, and tried to make sure that I got all of the points, you know, all of the points from, mainly I started from the business model canvas of what points I was going to cover. And then I just kind of refined it by watching videos and practicing. So
nice. Yeah, you know, I really like Dr. Ken Mathis. He's really amazing. And he's so helpful too. Like he's always open door, you know, for the entrepreneurs. Umama, what now? Share us some of your, you know, sage advice on this, and how did you do it?
Well, thank you guys so much for hyping me up. I think it's so funny that you guys say that, because if anyone follows me on Instagram, I show the behind the scenes of me preparing for any pitch. And I'm usually having a panic attack and meltdown. I'm like talking to myself in the mirror, trying to hype myself up. But really, what has prepared me is getting Google and YouTube certified. Just like Ashley, I just did my research. I went and saw on YouTube how other entrepreneurs that I admire delivered their pitches. And then I went to free resources that we have in Atlanta, like pitch practice at Atlanta Tech Village. So it really just comes down to practice, practice, practice. But first, it comes with really defining our story. And I think it's beautiful how much Ashley's Bella has transformed with her storytelling, because it is awesome. Your story is so inspiring. That is the most powerful tool that we have. But sometimes it takes that self-actualization, journaling, getting on camera and crying and telling ourselves, why are we doing this business? And then pulling from that, what is the thing that other people are going to relate to as a pain point? So the Goody Nation has a really great startup pitch deck template that I actually used, and I just made it pretty. But as far as the content, it will always come down to, why are you the passionate leader that is going to solve this problem? So yes, problem identification. What is your unique solution? Even if you don't have it totally ironed out, what is it that your magic factor is going to be that makes it sticky? And then talking about your traction, whether it's customers, revenue, social media followers, or the business growth that you've had. Talk about anything and everything and make yourself the expertise in the industry. And then at the end, having a very powerful and very defined ask. And that's why I said it was so important to know that E&I's goal was to hire Georgia State students and make Atlanta the capital for all these hires. So that was part of the ask, saying like, hey, I need this $10,000 grant to help you meet your goals. And when you are so defined in those, that's when you can get anything you want.
Yeah, that you make that's really awesome, and like how you. So I want to sort of pick your brains on that a little bit more, but because this is actually a question that came from the audience, from Joanne, right? And her question, I'll read it out first, but then I'll sort of sort of expand it a little bit, right? So Joanne is asking, how would you go about telling your story in 10 minutes or less confidently? Is there a technique you would recommend to people who are nervous about pitching their ideas? And this is really important, because I think Joanne really asked a question that I know many people have, that how do you get over this nervousness of public speaking and getting in front of unknown people who are judging you or your pitch, because the number two fear in the United States is being like drowning in water and getting eaten by a shark, right? And number one is public speaking. So that means people would rather get drowned and get eaten by a shark than to go and speak in public, which is really, I find it amazing. But tell us, can you share with us? You talked about your Instagram. You talked about you said Goody Nation has a pitch deck. You talked about Googling up your favorite pitches. So expand that a little bit, Mama, and maybe for the audience, for these entrepreneurs who may get picked in the top 50 and may get asked to come and present and tell their story in 10 minutes or less, how would they go about preparing for that?
Yeah. I'm going to start answering this by first channeling into your self-confidence. And this is why I believe fitness, sports, meditating is all so important in our journey, because it helps us listen to ourselves and how powerful our story is. We're able to see how we're able to transform our bodies or have this psychological momentum of being able to get new heights. And that's when we can actually write down what is so cool about us and why we're so passionate. One exercise I actually give people is to turn on your cameras and film yourself talking to your camera for 30 seconds and asking yourself, why do I want to do this? Why am I the person to do this? And when we see ourselves on camera talking to ourselves, we always have this reference point to go back to. So before practicing in front of other people, just get comfortable with yourself and your story first. So try that exercise. Then two, something I actually recently did was started writing my story in third person. if your friends had to write your story about you and what was powerful and so cool about you and what makes you the person to dominate in this space, write like you are your friend and practice saying that story like you are your friend, and then start switching it over into first person. But ultimately, it's going to come down to practicing in front of people. And this is the most nerve-wracking, the most uncomfortable thing that we still won't ever get over. And I still have this all the time. But we can knock away those thoughts of imposter syndrome by taking action. And that's why go to MK, go practice with him. They're all so willing and open to want to help you grow. And by involving them in the process, I've learned that they become cheerleaders for you, and it actually plays to your benefit. So I'm giving you guys a little life hack there. So take advantage of MK here, or take advantage of us. Both Ashleys are incredible speakers, and they will listen to you and hype you up on what's good about you, but also give you tactical feedback on what needs to improve. And that's what comes down to a good audience, is someone that's willing to listen and hype you up, but also tell you where you can improve. So definitely do that. There's a lot of resources as far as templates and outlines. I'd be happy to send you the one that I've used when I was getting started, and that should be able to help you. But channel into you first.
Awesome. That was really good advice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to Ashley Bella, and I'm actually going to pick on you a little bit. Ashley, is that what I want to understand? So I have a question from the audience, and it's really, and it's very relatable to where you guys are at. So what I want to sort of start ask the question is, when you started at Main Street, what stage were you in? And or your business was in, and where are you now? And then in relation to the question that that one of the attendees is asking, is that, can you share your experience with some of the resources and support that you have used at various stages of your startup, or from where you were before to how you got here now, from the conception from start till now?
Sure. Okay, so I would say where we were a business that was generating revenue. We were making about 35, 40,000 in annual revenue. When I started, we started with $0. Next year we did about 25, and then by the time we got into Main Street, we were doing about 35, 40. And so I was sustaining as a business, but as far as the solution I was developing that's led our company to where it is now, that was just in the idea phase. The idea was so fresh that I was actually in a meeting with MK talking about the fact that it was something I think I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure. So even in the interview process for this program, I still had a lot of things that I was trying to figure out. So if any of you feel nervous about, maybe I don't have, it's not like you're not going to explain your idea the way that we are right now. But that's because you haven't been in Main Street yet. And being in the program, even at the beginning, at the interview stage, they were helping us to really fine tune what we were doing and giving us some really honest feedback and some really critical things to think about, because we were going to spend the next 9 months really building that solution out and putting money behind it. So we really wanted to be sure where we were. And I think that through the program, we took it from an idea to when we finished the program, and after demo day, after winning the additional funding, after demo day, we were able to put out a pilot version of our product, and COVID started 2 weeks later, right, guys? And so we spent COVID really talking to our customers and really trying to test a lot of the assumptions we had about our product. And then from there, the feedback that they gave us got us to the pivot where we are now.
That's awesome. I'm going to stay with you, Ashley, a little bit,
Okay.
Because there's a question that I want to ask that's come from the audience, but I want to frame it a little differently, right? So that they can sort of understand. So the question is, actually, it's an administrative question, but I think there's value here to talk through it. And the question is that, if I know I have more than one business I'd like to pitch for Main Street, how can I apply for both businesses separately? Now, or can I? So what I want to do is I want to bring this back to, an example, right? With Artsy Bella, you had a shop, right? And
Yes.
which is growing, and you could easily build that, scale that if you wanted to with the fund from Main Street. But then you actually also wanted to do, or had the idea of pivoting and changing it to a subscription box, right?
Yeah.
And of course that's changing as well. But if you were to think, okay, I want to do both of them, would you apply with both of them in mind, or two different applications? And so if not, then tell me, can you explain to the audience and tell us why not? Why would not that be a good idea?
Oh no, you definitely don't want to do that. Because, and thank you to the ENI team for helping me to arrive at that conclusion on my own, but I deeply understand that you shouldn't, and why. I will just put it plainly, you look kind of unfocused. You look unfocused, as though you have yourself in too many pots.
Right.
And I'm sure none of you are in the business of becoming entrepreneurs and launching companies just to kind of have a mediocre lifestyle, to run a mediocre company with a mediocre product, and not a lot of customers. And the way for that to not happen, to really build something of value that's scalable, that's truly your passion, that you're excited about, you really have to focus on one thing. And there's so much work you have to do. When you learn, there's like a model for building these businesses. When you learn and understand that formula, the amount of work that it takes to identify a problem and develop a solution around that problem, and really figure out who those customers are, and then learn how to reverse engineer. We always start with a solution and then figure out what problem we're solving. But to really do it the right way, or the way that's the most scalable way, you got to focus on one thing. It doesn't mean you can't do the other things. I still have like 3 other streams of revenue, art-related revenue, that I have coming in. But that stuff that Main Street didn't need to know about. All they needed to know is that my attention and my focus is on the problem that I'm trying to solve, so that they know that I was serious about putting in all the energy that was needed to really create a solution.
Okay, thanks for that. So basically, it's really about focus, right? Because it's in an entrepreneurship or building a business, it's more about the things that you choose not to do that really decides what you need to focus on. That's really important to understand. And if you do that, and if you apply with more than one application, then that gives the impression that you are not sure about what you really want to do, and that kind of works against you, right? This is the final question of the day, and then we're going to close it out here. And I want to pose this to Ashley Richardson, is that when you're dealing with an idea like the one for My Totem, and you're solving a very similar problem that's saturated the market with other players like Canva, how would you approach that, and how do you deal with that?
We focused on the problem. The easiest way to say this is, there are so many different solutions that could solve problems for so many different consumers, right? But if at the end of the day, your consumer has the problem that you're solving and is willing to pay for it, that's all you need to worry about. Don't worry about, like all of the markets that exist right now only exist and only have statistics because of some comparison to some solution that's already out there, right? You're creating a new solution. So a lot of the time that comes with a new market. And so it's scary to go into it not really knowing all of the statistics that back up, if this is going to have high demand or whatever. But that's where it really, like, being a really good founder that's tenacious, that has the problem themselves or knows somebody closely with the problem, and always talk to their users, that's how you can really, build a solution that is independent from all of the other competitors out there. Focus on the problem, focus on the users. You can pay attention to competitors, but don't obsess over them.
Right, because really, what the only competition you're trying to beat is yourself, right? You're trying to get better each day. Anyway, let's, we're going to close this out. I want to ask you, each of you, to give, 30-second or less closing, closing statement about, just what you would advise, the audience here to, any one or two points that they should focus on, in sort of becoming a part of or applying for the Main Street Fund.
Yeah, I can start. Wow, the sun, of course, is coming. I believe you get what you put into it. So if you join the program and you are just attending the workshops and doing the bare minimum, that's exactly what you're going to get out of it. But if you are truly committed to making friends with the other entrepreneurs, following through and following up with your mentors, and taking action items from the workshop and applying it, then you will continue to grow. I can tell you the 3 people in this group were the most involved people in the cohort, and that is why we are here today. And there are amazing people in this cohort. So I genuinely believe the best mentors you'll ever get are the mentors beside you, the people that are going through this with you, because they're gonna be the ones to celebrate with you and then help you through the low points.
One of the Ashleys, whoever wants to go first.
Agreed. Definitely go prepared for your interview. Really put your all into your application and just really go at it with some conviction, go at it with some confidence. These opportunities don't come around all the time, right? Like the time is now. It's time to focus, hone in, and give it your all. And then really take advantage, like Umama says, of all of the resources and all of the people that Main Street bring around you, because I've gotten some fantastic, amazing mentors from it, resources, and also friends. So make sure that you use that.
So the biggest thing I would say is really think about your why. Why are you in business in the first place? Why did you decide to do this crazy thing and become an entrepreneur? Why would you want to live this lifestyle? Get that why in your mind, because you're going to have a lot of moments where, especially like when you get ready to go in that room and pitch to a bunch of strangers, if you're like me, you might choke and forget everything you had planned on saying. You will have moments where you're doubting yourself, or you're going to tell people about the solution you're building and they're going to tell you that it's silly or that you shouldn't do it, or they're going to try to tell you that you should change it into something else. But as long as that why is your anchor and you always have that to come back to, even this nerve-wracking process of applying and waiting to get accepted becomes easier. But then while you're in the program, like Umama said, being really engaged, really involved, that why is what's going to give you that energy to get the most out of it. All of us have a different why. For me, my why is my nephew. I want to pay for his ride to Ivy League school I got like 4 years to do it. So and that's my motivation. So those days when I just don't feel like doing this, he's the reason I get up and do it anyway.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. I want to thank all the panelists, Umama, Ashley Richardson, and Ashley Bella, for your time, your amazing journey, your sharing your experience, your advice with everybody here in the audience. Just for everybody to know, we have not opened applications yet, but we are getting ready to. There is going to be an information session recorded, and everybody is going to get that. And then we will also have an AMA session, with myself, that we'll schedule, that you can ask questions there as well. But everything that each of these entrepreneurs said are spot on, right? Because they not only participate in the program, they not only came out on top of the program, but they continue to thrive in their business and keep pushing forward every day. And that speaks volumes about them. And so everything that they said, I would really, take to heart and, think about. You can always reach out to me, and I'm sure, you can reach out to, each of these entrepreneurs on LinkedIn, and, follow us on eni.gsu. Follow Umama, follow Ashley, Richardson, follow My Totem, follow Archie Bella, and their Instagram posts are really, really, really telling and amazing. And even LinkedIn, they're very transparent, they're very open, and they share and they share their knowledge, freely. With that said, thank you everybody. Thank you, Umama. Thank you, Ashley Richardson. And thank you, Ashley Bella. You guys have a great afternoon, and I'll see you all soon.